Today we're going to talk about how not to chunk the golf ball. If you're an intermediate to beginner player, it's frustrating to chunk the golf ball. Let's take a look at how not to do that. We're going to go over a couple drills. Now, what I want to talk about is if we're chunking the golf ball, quite simply, we are having the club bottom out at the bottom of the swing behind the golf ball. But the question is, how do we not do that? The first thing we're going to look at is where we're moving our pressures and our weight in the golf swing. So if you're a player that when I'm set up, let's pretend I'm hitting this direction, when I come down to hit it, if my sternum dips behind the golf ball, that is going to result in this arc tilting and the club bottoming out back here behind the ball. Now, it doesn't take very much to chunk this. You can miss that arc by a ½ inch, ¼ inch, and that will result in a chunk. So we want to make sure that we are absolutely getting the club to work through and in front of the golf ball and the low point of the swing. So if I have this club coming down and this is the golf ball, the low point of the swing is out well in front over here in front of that golf ball. Now there's a couple drills we can do to do it that are downswing drills, but what I first want to talk about is a backswing drill. So if you've done some stack and tilts, or as I like to call it, the stack and shanks method, we want to go ahead and move more into a method where we can get a little bit of pressure and weight behind the golf ball. You heard me use the term pressure because I think it's a better measure than weight. So what we're going to look at, first thing I want you to do is you're going to get set up. We're going to do this somewhere where you can have a fixed location in front of you that you can make sure you're looking at. You can do it in a mirror. You can do it into a window with a reflection. But I want you to simply get set up and take a backswing, look up and make sure that you haven't moved, okay? So we're going to get set up. I'm going to put my head on a specific spot. I'm going to turn back and make sure that I have not moved towards the target or moved my head away from the target. I want to stay very centered. Now with that, once I'm there, here comes the part of the drill that's important. If I have weighted my front foot, now you can see I've put a lot of pressure on this front foot, I can't lift it, right? I'm very stuck on this side and I do not want that in the golf swing. What I want to feel is that I get set up, I make my backswing, my head stays nice and centered, and I could easily pick this foot up because about 70 or 80% of my pressure is on my trail foot. Now let's talk about pressure versus weight real quick when it comes to good contact. If I move my weight to my right side, I can just do this. That's not very athletic, is it? I'm just here, move my weight to my right side. That's not an athletic motion. But changing pressure, that's more of an athletic motion. So rather than getting here and just simply getting your weight to your back foot, that involves sliding, a lot of poor body mechanics. What I want you to focus on is that you're set up, we take our backswing, and we've created pressure in this right side now through rotation, through how we move this hip, but I can easily take and lift this trail foot. So if you can keep your head still, you can lift your lead foot, you're in a great spot to now start the downswing. So the first one I want to look at to not chunk it is going to be a left heel lift drill. So I'm going to get set up here, ready to hit it. And what I'm going to do in my backswing is feel like I get set up. As I go back, I'm going to let my left heel lift. Now it's important, I'm not letting this knee move towards the camera. I'm going to let this knee go this direction, okay? So it's going forward as I unweight this foot. Okay, so what I really want to feel here is as I take this swing back, I'm lifting, lifting, lifting as I turn. Now you can see I haven't moved way off the ball. I haven't changed body positions to achieve this pressure. I've just simply rotated and lifted my lead foot. Okay, so that's part one of this. The second part is as you go through and start the downswing, we're gonna let that foot drop and hit the ground. So it's an up and down, a little bit of a coordination drill. Let's take a look at it and let me show you what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna get set up, ready to hit it. I like to do a little rehearsal, take my backswing. We're gonna feel that lift, and then we're gonna feel as we come down that it again drops, okay? Swing will look something like this. I'm gonna get set up. We're going to lift and drop. What that does, we can see how easily I got my momentum to my left side because I created pressure in my trail foot. Now, as I start down, I'm sending pressure to my lead foot, and I'm letting my low point get in front of the golf ball. So one of the problems with stack and tilt, or stack and shank as we call it here, is that it puts so much pressure on your lead side, and we get over here that now the only place to go is up and backwards, exposing the hosel, making it really difficult to make good contact. So if I show you what it would look like, let's say I get set up here, and if I do this the wrong way, I'm gonna get set up, and as I go back, I'm gonna reverse pivot, and I got a lot of weight on my lead foot now, okay? So now I'm way over here, and I'm in front of the golf ball. That's wonderful, but the problem is I have nowhere to go. I'm already in my left side. It would be as if you were gonna throw a ball, or a quarterback, someone was just gonna throw off their front foot. It's not very athletic. We need to load and then fire. So what happens is, if we do it the wrong way, and let's say I don't get pressure and I do a reverse pivot, it becomes this and then that. And now I'm stuck leaning back behind it. I've had a shot that's very chunky and doesn't come off with very good speed or momentum because I chunked it. So what we want to look for to set ourselves up for success in the backswing is getting set up, letting that lead heel lift as I pivot. So now that I'm behind it and I have room to athletically move through the shot and create a good strike. So let's do one more here, see if we can get a good one. We're gonna get set up. I'm gonna let that lead heel lift as I take it back. So I'm going up and down. Struck that one very well. So we're really feeling that up and down to create momentum going through the shot. So let's take a look at drill number 2. Okay, so for drill number 2, we're gonna need a couple props here, and we're gonna use 2 tees. And what you're gonna do is set them up about probably 6 inches apart from one another. We're going perpendicular to our target, so you're making a nice gate headed right to where your target is. Now what I want you to do for visual purposes is you're gonna put a ball right in the middle of them. So these are intended just to make a line or identify a line that's imaginary, but that we can see whether we hit in front of or behind. So what you're gonna do here, you have the ball for visual purposes. You're gonna get set up as if you're gonna hit this golf ball. I have my club sitting right on this line. Now this line basically marks where I want the club to hit in front of, right? Because if I hit behind this line, I'm gonna chunk it. If I hit in front of this line, I'm gonna be able to get ball first contact. So now I'm gonna take that ball away. What I want you to do is you're gonna take your backswing and follow through about a 3/4 in size. Let's not do a full swing yet, but we're gonna do a backswing and follow through, and we're gonna see where we mark the ground in this swing. So if I go here and there, usually the first time someone does this, they don't hit the ground fully. So that's pretty common to see. Next one I'm gonna do again. Back and through. Okay, let's take a look there. So the first thing you're gonna see when you look down at this is that your club probably hit too far behind where the golf ball would be. Very common if we're chunking it. So now what we're gonna do is feel a walk-through drill. Okay, so the sensation here is by getting my body more in front, I'm gonna take my contact from being here and try and hit it up here. Let's take a look at how to do that. So one of the things in golf is we have to exaggerate feel sometimes. Oftentimes it feels like you're doing something and you're doing a lot of it, but you're probably not doing enough of it. So in this drill, we have a really nice parameter here that we're working around of where we're striking the ground. That's gonna be giving you your feedback. So when I get set up here again, originally I intended to hit here. I hit about 3-4 inches behind that. What I want you to do is try and hit that far in front of the tees. And if you do hit too far in front of the tees, that's okay. It's a great problem to have. We'll fix that. What I need you to have is the ability to strike the ground where you think you're gonna strike it, and we can't miss by 4 or 6 inches. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get set up here. I'm gonna take a swing, and I'm trying to actually hit the ground all the way up here. Now, again, that probably won't happen. So look, something like this. We're gonna go here and there. Now, notice how much weight I got forward through my front foot, and notice where I hit the ground, right here. Nicely in front of where my golf ball would sit. I now have a divot out in front. That's what I need to feel. Once I see that and I know what the sensation is to make that happen, now I'm gonna pull a golf ball in, and let's try it with a golf ball. So I'm gonna get set up, ready to hit it. Again, my goal is to hit the ground up here out in front. Let's see how we do. That one was nicely struck again there. And I can see by where my divot started, I hit the ground right here, which was slightly after my golf ball. So I'm thrilled with that contact. Now let's take a look at something where maybe it doesn't go as planned. So we get set up here, ball's where we need it. I'm gonna get set up and ready to hit this shot. As I swing and go through, I hear that dreaded thud. I see that I have a divot that started a couple inches behind the golf ball, and I've resulted in a chunk. So I can see my divot started here, the ball was up here. So let's talk about the solution for that. If we need to take this drill one step further, we can, and this is where we introduce the walkthrough aspect. So what I'm gonna do at this point, get a golf ball on the ground, but I'm gonna get the sensation of now not only trying to hit out in front, but I'm gonna get the sensation of I'm going to actually walk through with my body. So just like in any athletic motion, I wanna feel like if I'm throwing a ball, my momentum is going towards the target. So same thing here, getting ready to hit it. And we're gonna actually watch the walkthrough from this angle here. Again, trying to hit out in front, but the sensation is going to be that I walk through it. So I'm going here. Look at the change that gave us. So now with my momentum going through the shot, that's probably the best one I've hit all day. Feeling that I'm getting the club working down on the ball, hitting out in front of the golf ball, and getting the low point of my swing in the right spot to curtail that chunk. A couple things we want to recap here. Number one, we need to get pressure to the trail foot. We need to feel like we get pressure over here while staying very centered and being able to unweight this foot. In order to do that sensation, we're gonna do our left heel lift drill, staying nice and centered. And that's gonna get us in a great place in preparation for the downswing. Number two, we're gonna put 2 tees down. So we have a nice clean line that we've marked so we know where our line is, so we have great feedback. Once we've done that, we're gonna try and mark the ground a couple times, really without a ball, just to get the sensation. Once we've achieved that, let's put a golf ball in there and feel where we're hitting the ground at and get some good feedback. If you're striking it really well with that simple awareness, then great, go play golf. If you still need to go a little bit more to get the feeling, we're gonna do the walkthrough, which means you take your swing, we hit it, and then we simply just walk through the shot, getting our momentum going forwards. Let's go ahead, use those drills to make better contact, strike the ball better, chunk the ball less, and ultimately play better golf.